Ooh, woo, 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 woo. No, guys, we're not having a party. You're getting pulled over. Hey, guys, welcome to our channel, Chill on You Too. An average person knows that drinking and driving is illegal. But do you know when a police officer does and does not have the right to look through your phone? Or do you know that police officers can legally lie to you? Plenty of nuanced laws of the land tend to be misunderstood or totally unknown by the general population. So, if you have run-in with the law, make sure you keep in mind these police officer secrets. Dealing with a law enforcement probably isn't something anybody really wants to do. However, it's gonna happen to you at some point or another, even if you didn't break any laws. In this video, we're gonna talk about police tricks that cops use to increase their chances of pinning something on you. We will also reveal tricks you can use to get yourself out of trouble. Here are 5 tricks that cops don't want you to know. Alright guys, without further ado, let's check them out. You guys will be shocked to see our number 3 trick on the list. Number 5. Cops can legally lie to you. Imagine that an officer has told you that they have your fingerprints or your DNA. They say it implicates or even proves that you were responsible for the crime in question. You shouldn't necessarily believe them, as this is our number 5 police trick on the list. Obtaining a voluntary confession should be a straightforward process, but the use of permitted police deception adds complexity. During interrogations, police cannot use physical force, so they resort to various psychological tactics. During an interrogation, police can lie and make false claims. For example, law enforcement can lie to a defendant and say that their accomplice confessed when the person had not confessed. Police also claim they have DNA evidence, such as fingerprints, linking the defendant to the crime, even if no such evidence exists. Legally, cops are allowed to straight up lie to you. Country crime labs are notoriously backlogged. If you've been arrested for a crime that was committed fairly recently, it is actually unlikely that police have any fingerprints or DNA from the scene at all at the time of your interrogation. Number 4. You may have more rights than you probably realize. Many Americans only have the faintest knowledge of their rights regarding encounters with law enforcement, which only affords the police more power. Let's start with the Constitution, specifically the 4th Amendment, which states, quote, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized." In layman's terms, it says the police can't go through your stuff, though this right is illegally violated to some degree on a daily basis. You are protected by this amendment even if you're not a US citizen. It's also important to know that the police request is not an order, and you have the right to ask for clarification in this regard. For example, you don't have to roll down your window fully unless ordered. You may legally film police officers, though many certainly would prefer you didn't. You don't have to answer incriminating questions, nor do you have to consent to a search without a warrant. If you politely refuse a search and the cops claim he will call a canine unit, you have every right to ask, am I being detained or am I free to go? All of these examples are merely the tip of the iceberg, so it never hurts to brush up on some constitutional and state-mandated rights. Number 3. Complaints against police officers can be destroyed. Unfortunately, within the police force, there has been developed a culture of protecting your own, even if it potentially conflicts with protecting the public. When hackers gained access to the largest police union website in 2016, they uncovered some fairly disturbing information. In some places, there are guarantees that make sure that complaints made against officers by members of the public are kept secret so that they won't affect the officer's career or reputation. In other cases, the complaints are simply destroyed altogether. When The Guardian did an analysis of the Fraternal Order of Police documents, they found that a third of them contain a clause allowing the destruction of records of surveillance complaints, departmental investigations, or disciplinary actions after a negotiated period of time. A third of the documents also bar the public from accessing past records of complaints. All of these rules serve to make it as difficult as possible for complaints made against officers to actually have an impact. That means that officers who frequently receive complaints could very well end up long outstanding their welcome on the force. Number 2. Cops can administer fake tests. Many people probably read news stories or even seen TV shows where criminal suspects get off the hook based on some kind of technicality, where frustrated officers and prosecutors are left behind shaking their proverbial fist at the broken justice system, as I call it. A recent appellate case out of California shows that there exists a flip side to the coin, and the law enforcement's hands might not be quite as tied down as people may think when it comes to trickery. Not only can people legally lie to you, but they can also use fake tests to try to fool you. In the case People vs. Mays in 2009, cops hooked up their suspects to a fake lie detector that they, of course, told the suspect was real, when they then asked their questions. Afterward, they showed the suspect a fake graph from their fake machine. They said that it proved that the suspect had lied when answering their questions. The suspect then admitted to having been at the scene of the crime. The court ruled that this was a voluntary and admissible confession. In a similar case, detectives washed the suspect's hand and then applied a field kit used for testing if a substance was cocaine or not that changed color. When it changed color, they told the suspect it had done so because they had recently fired a gun with those hands. Number 1. Cops casually fish for info. So, you've just been pulled over, the officer asks for your license and registration, and you provide it. You should assume that everything that happens after that is then searching for information under the guise of casual conversation so that your guard isn't up. Don't fall for this police trick. Anything you say right now could potentially incriminate you, and it could end up being used against you in court, even though it just seems like a normal conversation. You should only tell officers what they ask to know, in the shortest way possible. This doesn't mean that you have to be rude. You should just answer whatever questions they have that actually pertain to the traffic stop itself. You don't have to answer questions about anything else. If they seem to be trying to lead you into a conversation about something else, try politely asking what the outcome of your alleged infraction is going to be. Alright guys, that's the end of this video, 5 tricks that cops don't want you to know. We hope you really enjoyed it. Don't get pulled over, thanks for tuning in, but before you go, subscribe, like, and share this video, and don't forget, hit that bell icon to check out more interesting videos made just for you.